in on the original crew, and you find yourselves on the boat that's about to leave the island, the hidden safe haven island with the town of Aegis and the Elder Council, with Tweed and Zadera and Vex. And you guys, if you remember, it's been so long. Do you remember who you chose to bring with you from the Elder Council?
Horse lady?
Was it Zadera or was it Elder?
I think it was Elder. I think it was Elder.
I think it was as
Horse
well.
lady there to
We
find
wanted
stuff.
the Elder powers.
Yes, and Zadera is the magic item shop owner, so you guys wanted her to stay there to refill the magic shop.
Yeah, and I also remember like joking about I wanted to see if you made your character OP or not.
Yeah.
100% I did.
He just like pull out like the one finger nuke. Just
yeah,
like,
he's a level 20 wizard. No, I'm kidding. He is all of the NPCs in the Elder Council, like they'll kind of switch in and out with you guys as like follower NPCs that you guys can use, just like Grak in the last adventure. They are all exactly the same level as you are, so no worries about that stuff. I've built them like how I would build a character if I was going to be playing, so they're pretty optimized for like how I would play. Elder is you guys are now 5th level, I think, so Elder's like a 5th level Eldritch Knight fighter, so it's like a fighter that can have a little bit of like wizard spells, which is like the character that I would play if I was in this campaign, so that's about that. We'll just put him right next to you guys. He's just a floating head.
Man, I feel nerfed. There were already 7 in White Plume.
I know you guys eclipsed your regular party, but that's okay. We won't see the goblins again for a while, so it'll give you guys a chance to catch up in levels. So, how's everybody doing? Anybody need to take a break before we get into it? We're gonna have quite a bit of narrative talking and stuff for a moment here.
Nah, I'm pretty good.
I got my burgers. I'm good to go.
Very nice. So, where we last left off in the Elder Council campaign, you guys found the safe haven island. You escaped your gladiatorial prison of enslavement on the Prince of Fate Island in the city of Chance, and you made it back onto Captain Hicks's old boat, and you got caught in the lightning storm, attacked by a dragon and the like ethereal rider of the dragon, and you guys took him down. You found the dragon egg and you made it back, and just happened to see Vex on his rowboat, and then he disappeared, and you followed him in just as your boat was sinking, and you landed on the shores of the island where the city of Aegis is located, and you found the Elder Council, and they kind of briefed you on the Lich's plans for gathering his undead army and trying to teleport them back into the real reality and enact his original plan of taking over Faerun. And he's working on turning everyone in on Hef into an undead part of his army, or using them for his plans. And he's now teleported away into his own little kind of domain to gather his army. And Adam Tweed explained that there are these 3 artifacts that are probably powerful enough to help you guys like get into the Lich's domain to try and take him down before he finishes his plans. So he sent you off towards the first one that you guys chose to go to in the Amethyst Caverns of the Ashlands, to the south of the desert where you appeared for the first time in Hef. And you left. Well, actually, you went and helped clear out the ruins so that the Elder Council could rebuild their base of operations, and you met the Goblin Squad, of course. So the minor change I have to make is when you met the Goblin Squad, we're going to say that Goldu decided that since they decided to worship him as a god, he stayed behind to help rebuild the fort so he could have his own castle and be the king of the goblins. And when he bowed down, Adam Tweed and First Mate Phil and the rest of the Elder Council decided like you still need more help, and they just discovered another survivor from the people who were teleported here by Rabble, and they bring him forth just as you're about to get onto the boat, and you're all rushing to get everything ready in time because there's no time to waste. You all are getting the boat ready. First Mate Phil is getting the crew in shape, getting the new ship that the Elder Council gave to him, and you as well, Darrow, the Sea Dick. You're rushing to get the dick ready, and
Oh my god!
and they usher your new combatant ally on board just as you're ready to take off, and you don't have enough time to get introduced, and you pull out of the port heading south towards the Ashlands. And First Mate Phil, who has kind of taken a couple moments to meet the new ally, comes down from his perch to introduce you all. And you see this giant towering, I believe, what is it, 7'7"?
Yeah.
This 7'7" bugbear,
353 pounds.
353 pounds. This is like the big show of D&D characters right here, you guys.
Is he bigger than Chad?
How tall is
Yeah,
Dragonborn? Like
definitely.
7 foot tall?
No, like my guy, I think it's only like 7, 6, 8.
Okay, so you see this giant furry Chad standing in front of you, and he is this like furry, no shirt looking monk. And First Mate Phil runs down the stairs, claps you on the like side of your arm because he can't reach anywhere near your shoulder, Chewy, and he says, "Lads, we've got a giant aboard. Introduce yourself, and here's who you'll be traveling with, my friend. These are the men that are going to try to save what's left of this world, and I hope that you'll be of service to us. You're damn big enough. You better be good enough to help." And he implores you to introduce yourself.
Huh. I'm Chewy.
Holy shit, Chad! Look at this guy.
That's Chad.
He's
What's up?
literally
My
the
name's
opposite of Goldu.
Chad.
You know I have to slap around to get home.
What?
He literally is the opposite of Goldu. And Elder, who's standing behind you guys, and he came along for the assistance, but he's kind of just been quiet the whole time, keeping to himself. And he looks over, and he's kind of got to know Chewy a little bit in the last couple of days since they rescued him and brought him to the village before you guys got back. And he just laughs as soon as you guys see him, and you're just starting to you're like super surprised that this like 8 foot tall beast walks aboard. And Elder just laughs and says, he's talented, boys. He's a damn good fighter. So now let's take a second, and I want to look over Chewy's character sheet with you guys. And I do have Tweedler working on this. He's already done with like the preliminary sketches and everything. So the next time we play, we should have a full-on character portrait for you, Dr. Feargood, just like the rest of the party here. So you should have your own portrait that I'll send over to you. You can use it for whatever you want, and it'll be your token on the stream.
Cool.
But I've just got to fill in one for now, just the basic bugbear. Hopefully that's good enough for you there.
That's fine.
Cool. Let's take a look at your character sheet. So you are a level 5 Way of the Kensei monk, which I believe is that what Clack was?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
Awesome. So it's a really, really cool
So cool.
class. I'm really excited to have one in the party with you guys. The Way of the Kensei monk is kind of like the super like badass martial artist type of a guy. What was your kind of thought making this character, Chewy? Did you have any sort of character inspiration?
Well, I like the idea of being a monk.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing, when I talk about slapping people around, I meant it. I've got a 10-foot reach with my arms.
Yes.
What?
So the cool thing about, if you guys haven't seen this, bugbears, I believe, are they in Volo's guide?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Okay,
Yes.
so bugbears are one of the special like monster races that you can get if you purchase Volo's Guide to Monsters. They're like a special character race. They have this ability long limbed, and whenever you make a melee attack, you get an extra like 5 feet of reach because they're so big. So Chewie can stand 10 feet away from something and melee attack it, and not like get opportunity attacked, and still be out of range from the enemies and stuff. So that's really cool. He also gets some surprise attack abilities. If you guys happen to surprise people and Chewie gets to attack them first on his first turn in combat, then he'll do an extra 2d6. So you might want to think about that strategy wise, like trying to sneak up on people and surprise them. Let's see, and then we've got all of the classic monk abilities that we got to see from Clack in the last adventure. Extra attacks, all that cool stuff. And then the Kensei weapons that he has is a quarterstaff and a crossbow, I believe.
Yeah, hand crossbow.
Cool. Did you add the insignia as well? Yes, you did. All right.
Yes.
So all of the like random magic items that Goldu had, just to let you guys know, we've just carried that over. So Chewie's now carrying all of those, like the portable hole, the bag of holding, and the ring of protection. So the dagger Goldu kept. He definitely wanted to keep his dagger as king of the goblins.
Damn it.
However, all of you can add 500 gold to your inventory.
Good. I had 13 gold.
I had 69.
Very nice. Well, you don't get to change yours at all. It has to stay at that number.
Yeah, dude, you're cool member.
And now I get 569.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Gotta put a dash between it.
Oh, I did forget. I don't know if you guys still have them available, but you can also add another 1,000 gold to all of the goblin inventories. So Brack, Flack, and Clack all have another 1,000 gold apiece. Man, those guys are loaded.
Yeah, when can they like give the money over?
Who knows? Hopefully they don't all die on their way back.
God damn it.
I'm just kidding. I would not do that.
Knowing Clack, likes to get charmed on the way back.
Grack is definitely like, he's a little different now.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
So, Chewie is introduced by Phil, and you guys are headed off to the Ashlands, which is in the southern part of Onhef. And Chewie, you were also claimed to be teleported to Onhef by Rabble. You were like in the middle of normal day, kind of normal day. You were dealing with your father who had taken ill, and trying to save him. And as soon as that was all going on, this warlock appeared and ushered you in your fate to help save this other timeline. And you grabbed another monk from your monastery and told him to look over your father, and then you were ushered away and teleported here. And Vex, the like ranger of the island who goes out on these scouting missions, happened to find you that like the second you appeared in this like forested area, and he brought you back to the island. And Phil starts to talk to you guys about where you're heading, and Phil explains that when they first picked you guys up on the shore of the desert at the very beginning, they were heading back to Chance from the Ashlands, from the place that you're going now. And Phil explains to you all, he's like, I have a bit of insider information, should I say, about where you guys are heading, and it's not good, boys. And he mentions, do you all remember that stone-cursed statue that we were transporting when we first picked you up, and we were going to bring it back to Chance?
Oh yeah, I remember him nicely.
Gargoyle.
Yeah, he mentions our mission from Rosiel originally, when Hicks was running things, was to go to the Ashlands to this military camp, I guess, and infiltrate and steal one of those statues to bring back so that they could use it for the gladiator arena. And I believe as far as this map that Vex and Tweed gave us, and he pulls out this like parchment of a map, just like a very simple sailing astrological chart and stuff, so he can find his way, or whatever you would call it. And he looks at it and he's like, I think as far as I can tell on this map, we're going to the same camp where we stole that statue. We had to be very crafty to get in and snag one of those things and get it out of there safely, and that was before all of this crazy lich stuff. But I know right where to take you guys to get there. It's just a matter of however you guys are going to pull it off. And Phil says, well, if you have any more questions, let me know. I'll try to think of anything I can think of about it, but I got to get the crew ready for the week's journey, and it's about a 2 weeks travel south on the ship to get to the Ashlands. And Phil turns around to go back up and steer the ship, unless anyone has any questions for him.
Food, ale.
Well, you heard that first, mate. Phil, feed the boy.
Phil turns around and laughs, and he shouts pretty loudly to try to make his voice echo down the stairs, and he shouts out for young crewman Tim, and Tim appears from up the stairs, and he's like, "Hey guys, welcome back aboard. I guess welcome aboard for the first time. It's a new ship here.
What is it called, Tim?
And he says,
Tim,
I can't remember what.
Tim, it's on the side of the ship.
He like scratches his chin for a second, and then he's like, "Oh yeah," and he like laughs for a second. He's like, "Hey Captain, what's the ship called?" And then Phil turns around and he's like, I'm not the captain anymore. That's our friend Darrow over here. Darrow, what's the ship called again?"
Visibly pissed, but then I brighten up and just yell out, "Sea Dick!"
And then Tim is like, "Oh yeah, I legitimately forgot about that." And then he like slams his fist on the wood on the staircase, and he says like, "Long live the Sea Dick!" And then you hear the rest of the crew downstairs like roar in laughter, and they all repeat it, and they say it a couple times. And
brilliant crew I got here.
And Tim says,
"Why are we going so slow, man? I think the Sea Dick is at half mast."
Oh. Wah.
All right, Chad. Yeah, you're a funny guy now, huh?
Tim laughs and he agrees, and he's like, "Yeah, we haven't really picked up speed yet. As soon as we get away from the island here, we'll be full bore aboard the Sea Dick." And Tim waves you all downstairs, and he says, "Chewie, have you been on a ship before like this?"
Nope.
He says, "All right, well, be careful. Watch your head coming down the stairs. If you need to, you can jump down the middle shaft there, the middle shaft of the Sea Dick, and you can avoid the stairs, and you can see this hole where this like the safety boat, I guess, the escape boat. There's enough room that you could like jump down through the hole, so you don't have to climb down the stairs if you don't fit down there." But he says, "Watch your head either way, and come down with me, and you guys can go down to the below deck and get some food and drink and stuff like that, and kind of settle into your quarters for the journey if you'd like."
Yeah, all that moving got the captain tired. I'm gonna go find my quarters.
Cool. Elder agrees, and he says, "Yeah, I could definitely use a rest. It's been a stressful while here." And you all go downstairs here.
Food, ale, quarters.
Chewie, Tim kind of Phil did not go with you. I don't know why I had dragged him over there. Tim drags you to the back of the craft here, and there's like this little dining room area, and he's got some crackers and cheese and meats like salted like jerky type meats, stuff that's gonna last a while. And he's got it all set up around the table back here. Elder actually follows you back there, and as well, he's pretty hungry. He wants to kind of chill out and sit down for a while and eat some grub. Chad and Darrow, what do you guys want to do?
Chad will have a seat at the table.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go see what's popping off at the table as well.
Cool. So you guys all get down to your kind of crew quarters and stuff like that, and you all remember this area now. And now they've kind of emptied out the back, so you all have some sleeping quarters in the back of the ship as well. And pay no mind to the drawing. Like, just pretend that there's 4 little rooms back here, and they're all very nicely furnished for you in this new ship that you've got. And you all have your own separate bedroom and quarters with your own storage chest and stuff like that. Like, you can consider the ship your home base while you're out on your travels to other areas and stuff. And you all get around the table, and Elder kind of sits back and looks at you all and says, well, we've got a new council member, it seems. What say you, Chewie? What do you think of our plan? And they've explained to you the plan of going to the Amethyst Caverns to find another one of the powerful artifacts. They don't know what the artifacts do yet. Tweed researched them, and he knows that there's these powerful artifacts that may be able to open like a portal to the Lich's domain, but they aren't sure exactly what they are yet until they see them. So right now their plan is kind of just like go to the place where they last were known to be and try to find them. Elder is kind of suspect about the whole plan, but he thinks that you guys will be able to do it, and he asks you, Chewie, like, what say you?
The plan sounds good until it's not.
He like toasts you at that one. He's like, absolutely correct. I hope that we have someone formidable that will be able to help us in case the plan does indeed go wrong. And he kind of cheers as you.
I can help.
Very nice.
So
So
you're eating all our food, you better help.
I just look over at him.
Just keep shoveling food in.
Yep.
I've been dealing with Chad for months. Yeah, I'm not scared of you.
Chad, how are you doing, old friend? How's things going for you? Are you ready to get back out on the adventuring trail?
Yeah, from everyone else's plates, I'll probably just get like real like food tired and then just like hit this hay like really quick.
Okay. So you guys can continue like conversing and talking about plans and stuff, and if there's anything you want to do while you're aboard the ship, let me know. I don't have any encounters aboard the ship really prepared. Every time we've kind of gone from one area to the next, we've taken the ship, and I don't want to take too much time and take a whole nother session to do like another big ship battle or anything like that. I feel like we've been there, done that. We can just kind of speed up and fast forward through this if you guys want to. If there's anyone you want to interact with on the ship or anything you want to do, let me know, and we can definitely do that.
I want to ask Elder, does he have any helpful tips with this my baby dragon or baby dragon?
Ooh, okay. So do you have the egg on you?
I thought I had an inventory, but I don't, so I might just have to remember right now.
What do you mean you didn't?
I just didn't add it to my inventory.
Okay, but you do have it like on you.
Yeah.
Okay, so he like takes a look at it and he is like, "This is very interesting. Where did you say that you found this?"
We bopped off a dragon, big black dragon, well, purplish, and he left something on the table. Well, our deck. And actually, no, they didn't fall in the water. Yeah, I damn near killed myself for this egg.
You dove overboard
Yeah,
for
I
it.
dove
Yeah.
overboard for it.
So he laughs at that for a second. He's like, "That makes sense. I definitely would have done the same. This is a very valuable item. Um, they are known to hatch and grow rather quickly. Dragons, obviously, if you know much about them, they live for a very long time. They age rather slowly, but they grow up quick. Once they hatch, they're a young, serviceable, intelligent creature within a matter of weeks, if not months. And he looks at it and he's like holding it up to the light to try to see through it, but it seems like a pretty solid amethyst like crystal. You can see a little bit of like a shadowy figure on the inside of it. And he says, I imagine if you keep that thing on you and keep it safe, when the time presents itself, you'll know what to do with it, or it'll just show you what is going to do with itself.
I don't like the sound of the last part there, but okay.
He didn't mean anything like ominous by it at all. He just meant like it's like, well, you're either gonna know what to do with it or it's gonna hatch, and it's like having a kid, like you're never gonna be ready for it, but whenever it comes, you're gonna have a dragon. So there you go.
I know all about kids, all 6 of my illegitimate children.
He laughs at that. And he's like, all right, well, 7th one's on the way.
Yeah,
why do you think he's on this trip?
He came here on purpose, like to the apocalypse.
Well, see, you gotta go.
Well, it's the end of the world.
Johnny, take care of the house.
I'm going to this lich universe. I'm out of here.
This dead world with a lich is way better. That's amazing. So he gives you a couple of pointers. Like, he has experience with like dragons and stuff. He's fought the same like type of young dragons and stuff that you guys kind of ran into, and he has the idea, like he notices that the dragon egg is an amethyst like dragon egg, like the one that you fought, and he says, we are going to the Amethyst Caverns, which fabled from even our own world. It's a famous former ancient amethyst dragon breeding grounds. So
you're saying there's a chance to find more eggs?
Well, you can't rule it out, but it could be a place of interest or power for the one that you have. You never know. I imagine, I don't know how time works here exactly, but I think it's been a couple thousand years since our time and this time. I would imagine it's probably a very different place than our texts would explain, but the caverns were made from the same material as those dragons evolved to be a part of, so anything could happen with it there. I'm not sure.
All right, well, I'm ready, guys.
Very nice. Chewie, anything you want to do or accomplish or plan for on the ship here? The world is your bugbear oyster.
Healing potions around?
You could probably talk to the crew and let's say they could scrounge one up for each of you guys. This time, I don't know what you guys have in your inventory now. It's been so long, but go ahead and
5 greater, I believe.
Awesome. So everyone, go ahead and add 1 extra greater healing potion to your inventory. And greater, the bad ones were what? 2d4 plus 2.
Yeah.
Greater healing potion in 5e is, let's see, 4d4 plus 4.
Nice.
It's a decent amount better there.
Nice.
Hey, Random British Dude, thanks so much for coming by the stream, and thanks for the raid yesterday, man. I hope you're having a good one. So yeah, you guys get a little bit restocked. You restock all your rations and stuff. They can supply you with anything that you think you could find on a ship. If there's anything you want to try to get, they essentially know that they're on a quest to kind of like aid you guys in trying to stop the world from getting totally obliterated. So anything that is theirs is yours. If there's anything you want to do or find before we skip ahead here.
All good here.
Okay.
Actually, I'd like to search the boat for a legendary weapon.
Chad already has one.
Well, I mean, doesn't mean he can't have another one.
True, you do actually find one. You find Black Razor, and it consumes your soul.
No, I mean it's stronger. Again, there's nothing can stop Chad Razor.
Chad
That'd be
Razor.
pretty amazing. No, unfortunately, you kind of like do this investigation around the ship, and you're talking to people like, "Hey, seen any legendary Chad weapons around here?" And everybody's just like,
Wink at everybody as well.
"Oh yeah,
I wink
absolutely."
at them as I say that.
Phil like winks back at you as you do that, and he like points and he's like, "Look over there," and he grabs your sword and then he like presents it to you.
I grab my sword back and then like bop him with like the flat side on the cheek. And I just shake my head.
First mate Phil he's probably like barely 5 feet tall, and you bop him and he like tumbles back a little bit and he like has this big belly jiggle, and he's like grabs his head and he's like, I should have seen that coming, and he just goes back to steering the ship.
Night.
All right, so you guys all get your rest and whatnot, and you come back aboard. Let's say you're just traveling for a few days here. It's been maybe 3/4 of your journey now. You're getting pretty close. So the easiest way for me to explain the map without showing it, the map of Anhef, is just like, imagine just a straight coastline. The desert was in the middle of it. The island that you were on with the city of Aegis is directly across from that in the middle of the straight coastline, and the Ashlands are all the way at the south of that coastline. And Phil explains from what we knew before, and from the texts that Tweeds has found, and from what Elder has told us about the history and ecology of your world, the Ashlands used to be known as like a great rainforest and swamp-like area, great humid, rich wildlife, and this incredible, vast tree-covered landscape. And after the Lich's explosion turned the world into the Anhef that we know, that great forest burned for 500 years straight with no stop, and it just turned the entire place into this like ash-covered mud pit with dead trees, and like the whole place is just essentially this black desert of charcoal, and the rainforest and like the ecology kind of slowly started to come back, and it's like full of this humid rain covering weather all the time, and it's just turned the ground and the area into this like ash and mud covered like quicksand type swamp. And Phil explains that their last trek to this military operation to get one of these statues was very, very rough, and they lost a crewman during the encounter. And you're about 3/4 of the way down the coastline. You're just traveling maybe 50, 60 miles off of the coast at all times, just cruising down the shore to the south, heading towards the Ashlands. And Phil's explaining he knows the fastest way to get there. And as you're all hanging out discussing the history of this place and what to expect when you get there, this big raven comes down and lands on Chewie's shoulder. And it stares at you all for a moment. And it's looking around, and as soon as you kind of make this exclamation of surprise, Chewie, you all hear this voice, and it sounds like this weird disembodied voice, like the sound of it's like a voice coming through like an old AM radio, like it sounds like it's not really there. And the raven just opens its mouth, and then this weird like crackly voice comes out of it, and you all recognize it as Vex's voice. And he speaks, and he notifies you all that he's received some extra intel, and he needed to catch up with you as fast as possible to update you on the situation. And he has uncovered to you the reality of Vex's power. And he shows you that he's actually not just a ranger, and he has a familiar he has these magic powers, and he has a magical familiar that he can scout out any area with, and he can see through it and speak through it at will. And that's kind of how he's done this like advanced scouting. He can go and take himself to the desert and then use his familiar to scout the area for any interesting places or whatnot. And he flew this raven to you as fast as possible, and he explains there's a huge storm on the way to the Ashlands. It's this giant whirlpool has sprung up in the ocean, and it looks absolutely deadly. It's like 100 miles across, directly off the coast where the Ashlands is at. And he had to come and hurry to tell you before you got too close to it without realizing it. And he also explains, like, when he first got like involved with the Tweed and the Elder Council and started doing these scouting missions, he was closer to the southern coast, and they were in this forest before they found the Safe Haven Island and everything. And he was exploring there, and there was a little village that he mentions, and he says the village was very small, just a couple of forest dwelling people, maybe no more than 20 people. But he made friends with them, and they helped him scavenge some things and helped him survive while he was trying to find his way back to Tweed one time. And he asks you if you happen to get close to there, which it's not too far away from the military camp in the Ashlands. He asks you to check in on them, and he says, just I had to catch up with you before you got too close to the whirlpool and let you know, but I have to get back now. And he's still sitting on Chewie's shoulder. Any of you guys have a reaction or say anything to him?
Why can't you just send the message to them directly? Why do you gotta talk to us?
I have a new pet.
What do you mean, send a message to them directly?
I know you had to tell us about the whirlpool, but like, why do you have to tell us to tell them to check in on them? Like, why do we have to check in on them? Why can't your bird form?
He's like, well, he's not the bird. Like, it's just like he's like seeing through the bird's eyes and speaking to you guys through it, right? But he's like, I definitely am going to go check on them and see if they're okay. But if they're not okay, I can't do anything about it like this, right? But if you happen to go see them, and he like explains where they're at, and this like just meta, like this is totally, I'm not at all railroading you guys. It's going to be totally up to you what you want to do. It's totally fine. But he explains where they're at. He says, like, I will probably try to go and see if they're okay, but if they're not, I won't have anything I can help with as a bird. So he just asks, as a friend, he's just asking you, like, I've got some friends that they might be in danger. I'm not sure. If you happen to see them, please help them out. They deserve the help after what they've done for me. And he prepares to embark.
All right, we understand, buddy.
Okay,
We'll do our best.
So Phil is kind of steering the boat and looks down at you all after that, and he was like kind of amazed at the talking bird and stuff, and he's like, man, the last couple weeks have been pretty crazy. I just don't have it in me anymore. What do you guys want to do? It's up to you. And he says, we could probably, I don't know, Darrow, what do you think? With the two of us, we could maybe pilot our way through this whirlpool, or we could land on the coast and walk down the coastal road towards the Ashlands. Only a day's walk or so, but it's all up to you. We can either land close to the military camp, or we can take a little bit of a extra walk and try to save the boat and not sail by the whirlpool.
Land.
I'm sure this sea
Dad
dick
doesn't want to
can
get wet.
pierce the whirlpool.
I'm not used to this water.
Let's try to keep the paint on it as long as we can, huh?
Timmy is like walking by with a paint bucket as you say that. He's like just finished putting the final finishing touches on the beautiful lettering script that says "C Dick" on the side, and he's like, "That's probably a good idea, Captain." And so Phil explains like there's a coastal road that kind of goes all the way down the coast through the desert into the forest and the ashlands, and he says we could land, and then on our way to the military camp we could pass by the spot where Vex explained his friend's village was at if you want, but it's not too far of a detour, and we can make it to that base camp by a day or two after we land, which should be probably tomorrow, he explains, now that we're going to be a little closer.
All right. Well, it's unavoidable. I'd rather not try with that whirlpool.
Okay. So he adjusts the course a little bit and just kind of turns slightly more to the east, and the ship heads towards where he thinks the coastal road will be at, just maybe, I don't know, 50 miles north of where the military camp is on the coast of the Ashlands. And Phil goes back to his duties there, and Vex flies off, and Vex flies like straight towards the area that you guys are headed towards now. So you think that you're going the right way. He's headed apparently towards the village to see how they're doing. And yeah, the Sea Dick is on its way. Let's see. So yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to do, I guess we will just land this here ship at the coast. Did you any of you have questions for Phil or Vex or anything before any of that goes down?
No.
No.
Okay. So you land the next day pretty early. Phil wakes you all up, and you're about to the shore, and he explains like you'll have to take the rowboats to the shore. Obviously, we're not going to beach this thing. It's a pretty like sandy coastline, and Phil says Vex checked on the village, and they seem to be okay. He said they're all still they haven't been discovered by the Lich yet, but who knows? That could change at any time. Their camp or their village is extremely close to this military camp. It's just on the other side of this clearing in the swamp. And he came by and notified Phil overnight that the whirlpool would probably clear up in a few days, and Phil is going to say he suggests that you all take the rowboats ashore and start your trek towards the military camp, and he and the crew will take the ship down the coastline and meet you there in a few days, just to keep the ship out of harm's way once the whirlpool kind of dies down a bit.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
He says we could keep the ship here if you want, but then you'll have to come all the way back once you accomplish your goal at the caves. We can wait here as long as it takes for this storm to clear up, and then we'll sail down the coast and meet you closer to the caves.
Yeah, it's probably best to keep the ship mobile. We have no idea if another dragon might appear or anything like that. So if anything like that does happen, don't mind, just kind of sail. Ship's way more important at this point.
Phil, he as soon as you say that, like, in case another dragon appears, Phil like looks at you like, do you think that's a possibility?
Yes, that's why I said it.
He's just like shocked at that. And he's like, yeah, I guess we better stay mobile. So yeah, me and the crew will stay on high alert, and we'll circle for a few days until the storm dies down, and then we'll meet you further down the coastline. Are there any supplies that you lads need before you embark?
I think I've grabbed everything. Chat, Chewy.
You got any food?
He can load you guys up with whatever, another extra week's rations or whatever you ask for. They've got plenty of stores of dried foods and goods and ale and all sorts of stuff
Ale.
on the ship.
Just in case we fall in the bottom of a pit, we got something to eat.
There you go. He brings like a week's worth of these packaged dried like jerky rations and stuff and gives them to each of you, and then Chewy, he hands you this little wooden mini keg, like a little mini barrel of ale to strap on your back. And he's like, that's insurance that you're gonna come back and give that back to me. Like, I need that back, so you better stay safe.
Me safe.
Very nice. So he helps the crew unload the couple rowboats for you guys, two of them, so two people apiece in a rowboat, and he helps you get to shore if you guys are ready to head out.
Yep. Sounds good.
That boogie woogie.
Nice.
Chad away! Chad just jumps into the water and just like ignores the boats.
Very nice. All right. So
You'll get used to this, Chewy.
So you guys head to shore on the rowboats. You get there, and Chad has been like waiting there for quite a while already.
Dry as like all could be.
For sure, yeah. You get to shore in this sandy coastline. You can see it. It goes up this hill a little bit and then turns into this nice, like, kind of. It looks like a game trail, like where animals would be following during their like migrations. It's like this trail that looked like it just goes through the forest floor, but it's been trampled flat over hundreds of years and turned into like an actual like a hiking trail type of a thing where you could just follow it all the way down the coastline. And Elder grabbed the map from Phil before he took off and took a copy of it onto his parchment and says, well, it looks like we've got about a full day and a half's hike down this trail here before we get to the military encampment where the item seems to be in the caves. From what Phil told us, the cave is just this naturally occurring amethyst cave in the mountainside, but this military camp has been built up around the caves for the last couple years, and they've been doing some sort of strange operation, including whatever they were doing with that stone statue man that you spoke of. So it'll take us about a day and a half to get there. I suggest we get moving before it gets dark.
No objections from there.
Let's go.
Cool. So you guys climb up the beach and get onto the coastal trail, and you're all heading down the path. And let's see, it's been a couple hours. You're on your hike. It's actually decent weather. It's really humid, but you're further away from the equator area that you were on before, on the tropical like island where Aegis is at, and it's rather cool. It's probably just in the like low 70s, pretty humid but not too hot. The sun is shining down, but the like burnt like these like swamp trees that used to be overgrowing in this area, like they kind of grow out and over the pathway, but they're all burnt, so it's like just these like shells of trees are just covering this trail. And let's see here, let me roll a good old D12. And a couple of hours go by and nothing seems to happen. You don't really run across anything crazy along your way. You see, the closer you get to your destination, you've gone maybe 15, 20 miles so far in the day, and you're making pretty good speed. And occasionally you'll see like a little rodent or rat run along the trail and scurry on by, and then you'll see a snake a couple minutes later kind of slithering on after it. And it seems quiet. The ground is turning more and more into this kind of like damp ash the closer you get, and you can see these trees, more and more of them. It's turning from like every couple trees is charred and burnt, and there's a lot of living trees growing up underneath the undergrowth, into just this like land of death, and all of the ground is covered in this soot and charcoal and ash, and all the trees are almost totally burnt over and knocked onto the ground. And every once in a while, off in the distance, in the side in the forest, on the side of the road that's not the coastline, you will hear this large like wooden cracking and snapping noise that you can guess is just like these ancient burnt trees that are slowly cracking and falling over in the woods. And as you're all walking, I need you all to make a perception check for me.
Sorry, what roll?
Perception, sorry. Gusto and Abbott, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming to the stream. Awesome. So Chad and Chewy, you guys are kind of like right next to each other on the side of the pathway that's closest to the forest. And as you hear these cracking noises, and one particularly large, like thundering, like it sounds like a big thundercloud snapping, and you turn to your left, and you're looking for this noise to see if you happen to see the tree that fell, and you see what looks like the snake tail from one of the snakes slithering by before, and you kind of brush it off for a second, and then you turn back because you thought your eyes were like playing a trick on you, and you turn back and you see this snake tail slither behind a tree, but it was huge, like the size of a person slithering on the ground. And from behind that tree, you can see the snake tail goes up into a what looks like a humanoid body with some like leather clothing on it, and it looks like a almost like elven type of a figure is the upper half of this thing. It's a half humanoid, half snake person that's kind of like slithering around in the forest behind a couple layers of trees, and like kind of slowly watching you all. And they see you turn and see them, and they kind of dart back behind a couple of trees and out of sight.
Hey, where did you go? I wanted to be your friend. The snake left, guys.
What snake?
Where's the snake friend?
Snake friend?
I think we're on a mission we need to stick to.
Elder, he, as soon as you say snake friend, he turns to you, Chad, and says, what kind of friend do you mean? Another snake chasing a rabbit?
Oh, no. This is like a snake with a face and a body, but with snake legs.
He
Snake legs.
Snake legs?
Legs.
Yeah, I think you're confused.
It has snake legs.
Snakes don't have legs, Chad.
That's why it had snake legs.
Elder, he chimes in and he says, I think now this sounds crazy, but you know how the goblins, and this Dr. Feargood, you may not know this quite yet, the goblins that you guys just played as, they were on this world when like all of the lich stuff went down and the world was transformed into the world that it is now, and all of the rest of the goblins are dead. They're like the last remaining goblins. So when they saw Goldu, that's why they decided to like worship him as the Goblin King, because they saw like they found a real life like original regular goblin. And they are like the ones that you were playing as, they're all like the mutated like apocalyptic versions of goblins. And Elder mentions like, hey, you guys know how the goblins were these weird mutated versions of our world goblins?
Yeah.
That happened to elves in this world too. And
My kin?
he's quiet for a moment and he's like, yeah, man. The elves of the great swamps and forest lands of the south, like southern beyond the desert, they were transformed into these like snake creatures. They're like half elf, half snake. I think the village that Vex befriended was their village. They, as far as Vex explained, they're friendly, but that might be them. We might watch out for that. I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
I think if it was truly evil, it would have attacked us. It would just look like a friend who's too shy to say hello.
Make another perception check, everybody. I imagine now at this point, like once you're all talking about it and Chad explains what he saw, like everyone would be like standing there, like looking into the forest to like try and find this thing, right? So, oh wow, 21
Yeah, the
and
rolls say that
two
too.
22s. Everybody's looking at this thing. So, you all like Elder explains like the elves were mutated into these snake people, and Chad says that he saw one, and you all look and you can see a couple of layers of tree back. This like female elven head pokes out from behind a tree and is watching you, and as soon as the head pokes out and sees that you're all just like standing there looking, it pops back behind the tree really quick.
Hey, baby, come back. She's half snake. I'm not going to bother with this, but we need to keep our options open here.
Do you say that in Elvish or Common?
My bad. I'm going to say it in Elvish.
Very
nice.
You hear like a laugh come from behind the tree, and the person like pokes their head out, and you hear this reply in like a very broken Elvish that you can like 75% understand this, and the voice is like this nice, like warm, kind of deep elf woman voice, and you hear like no one has spoken that language in many years. You speak the ancient language. It's like if someone today went to Italy but they were speaking Latin, like people could probably understand it, but they'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And she laughs and like kind of slithers out from behind the tree and comes up to greet the party, and it's this really tall, like probably 6 feet tall, and yeah, she has what Chad explained as snake legs, and comes up to greet you all and looks very cautious, but slithers up to maybe about 15 feet away and greets you in Elvish again and says to you all in Common, Great Vex explained that one of the Ancient Ones would be coming and we can trust you. And she points to you, Darrow, like the Ancient Ones as like an original elf. She says, I've never seen one with my own eyes. We've been in this form for many hundreds of years. I trust you've come to deal with the aggressors in the camp.
I've come to deal with everything you want me to, baby. I immediately rush towards her and grab her hand, by the way.
She looks like a little taken aback, like a little shocked, and jumps back a second, but then chills out and like she like shakes your hand.
How are you?
Make what would this be? Make a like some type
Persuasion?
of charisma check, like
Persuasion. Come on.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I'm not persuading
Or
her. I'm just.
Or
Hey,
performance.
I mean, they're both high. It doesn't matter. Honestly.
I think it's just straight up charisma, whatever, and you can add your proficiency bonus to it, whatever you want it to be, performance or Oh yeah, all right. Nat 20 plus 8. All right, so you like lay it on pretty thick here, and you're trying to be like charming Mr. Sea Captain Darrow, and for some reason this lady, she introduces herself to you all as Sayel, And
yeah, that's such a beautiful name. Did your mom give you that name?
For what she for whatever reason, she is like really eating it up, and she's like, I've never met one of our ancient kind before. This is an amazing honor. I never thought I'd see the day. That you're the hero of fate to fabled to save our kind and end this plague on our world. I must take you back to our village.
How far is your place? I'll go back.
She says it's on the way. Only another hour's journey from here, and you'll be there. And it's no far out of your way towards your destination.
All right, perfect, guys. Let's go, guys. Let's go. We gotta do it.
Should we just like give you some space because you want to go with her? And I don't understand what's happening right now.
She says no. All of you, come, all of you. They want to meet you all. You're the heroes of the world. You have to meet the village. And she explains that her little village is just like a hidden little swamp treehouse village that's kind of built into the swamplands here, and it's been here for these snake elves for hundreds of years. And when the Lich army started rebuilding and populating and built this military camp, they kind of had to try to hide it a little bit, and they've just been in hiding. And did you see what? Oh my god. So she explains to you that they would love to meet you all, and there's only 15 or 20 people left of her people in the village. Snake legs, oh my god. So she explains where it's at and offers to bring you all there and show you all the village.
I have a meta question, by the way.
Absolutely.
So it's not all elves, because Rosira was normal.
She was like a high elf, which in my kind of world and lore, like she's essentially like those like golden like asshole high elves in Skyrim,
So that's why she won't give me no play.
Yeah, and the like the wood elves, like the creatures of the forests and stuff in this world, they were all turned into these snakes.
All right. What about my people?
Who knows?
I'm sad.
That's what they get for not being pompous assholes.
True.
I just hope my people didn't become Furbies.
I don't think we have encountered any bugbears so far.
Nah.
But everything that was like out in the wilderness, like you guys saw that like the dog in the desert turned into that weird zombie, and these elves have transformed, and the goblins, like a lot of the natural world has been really shaped and transformed by this necromantic power. And at this point, you wouldn't be surprised to learn that anything has changed. But she starts to kind of bring you towards the village, and you go down the trail just like you were, like she said, another hour or so, and then she veers off into the woods, just straight east into the forest, and the ground is a lot more quicksand and muddy and stuff. You're kind of sinking a couple inches every time you take a step, but you can see that with the snake tail, she's kind of just gliding over the surface and making it in, and every 20-30 feet she has to stop and turn around and see like, oh, they need to catch up, and she slows down and lets you guys come and catch up to her, and she takes you in this winding path, and you duck under this large log that has fallen over, and underneath it is this like giant canopy with some little wooden huts and some boulders that have kind of been placed around in certain spots, so that there's like 5 or 6 little lodging type houses here. And you can see Vex, his familiar raven, is perched on top of one of the trees, and Sael ushers you in and says, please try to keep quiet while you're here. We're very close to the military encampment. It's just maybe another mile or so down the trail.
It's gonna be pretty hard if you invite me back to your place. Just saying.
So she definitely like was born in this world and grew up here, like living in the like swampy ashlands as one of these like snake elves. And when you say that, she's like, why would it be hard to be quiet? Why, please keep quiet. It's very dangerous.
I mean, how old are you, by the way? Just to be.
She's like 75.
Okay, a little young, but not bad.
How old is Darrow?
uh, I think he's like mid-age, so I guess he's like 100 plus.
Okay. So yeah, she's like 75, but yeah, that's not old at all for these elf people. And these ones especially, like, they probably live to be, 1,000 years old or something like that. So
Snake blood.
yeah, they're pretty beefy elf born people. So so you're all in the village and everyone's kind of being quiet, and a couple people kind of slither out of their homes and stuff and come to see what's going on, and they see Darrow, and all of her friends kind of gather around and they all introduce themselves and whatnot, and they kind of just are in wonder at the sight of a true elf, what they think is a true like full-blooded like ancient
They
elf.
don't even know that I'm a mutt.
And they're just amazed, and they see Chewie and Elder and Chad, and they see like, wow, you have quite some substantial large bodyguards there, oh great mighty ancient one.
Yeah, they carry my ale for me.
What is your quest? Or have you
My,
come to rid our swamps of the problems of the aggressors?
Anything for you, baby. I mean, we're here for anything at all. Just ask us.
They're all like delighted to hear that, and they explain like, in the last couple of years, these people have moved in down at the entrance to the cave, and they say that they all used to use this cave as like a place of like this holy ritual site where they would go for their like breeding grounds, and like they'd have their little baby snakes and stuff. And it's like this great, wonderful amethyst cave filled with these amethyst crystals, and they even they know that it used to be like an ancient dragon breeding ground.
Speaking of that, I showed one of them the egg. They look like this.
Oh wow. Okay, so when you pull that out, Sael and like a couple of the older snake elves, like they are like legit shocked when they see that. They like more surprised than when they saw you, and that was a big deal for them. So they see that thing and they kind of freak out a little bit, and they're like, do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, I killed his pappy. Now I'm his pappy.
And they're like, wow, we haven't even seen an amethyst dragon in hundreds of years. Only the oldest among us, Samuel, has ever laid eyes on one.
It's a day of first.
They are blown away, and they're like, you have to be careful with that. As soon as it is hatched, it's going to latch on to the first person it sees, and it will take on their alignment and their energy, and it will become a part of them. And if it's in the wrong hands, it will be unspeakably powerful.
Yeah, I don't think our crew is pretty tight knit here. I mean, unless someone's hiding something, I think it'll be okay.
They're all like very
Elder laughs nervously.
No, he doesn't care. The snake people are like very cautious, but they're like, they, as soon as they think about it for a second, they're like, of course you're the chosen one. Of course you would have the dragon egg. Like,
yeah,
you're the ancient elf. Like, it makes sense. And like, they're all like,
I do this all the time.
They're thinking about it, and they're like they used to worship this like Amethyst Cavern, and it was their holy place, and now like a real elf has appeared with a dragon egg, and they're just like, they're mind blown, and they're just like, you're the Christ figure to them at this point, at this moment, and they're like, speaking of Samuel, our village elder, the last person to see one of these dragons in the flesh, he's the provider for this village, and he's the one who rescued Vex, and Vex's Raven kind of chimes in and says, I came back after I alerted Phil about the updated issues because Samuel's gone missing. And
Sam's missing.
he's the village elder, Vex explains, that rescued me and saved me when I was lost in these woods. And then Sael says he is essentially like the father figure to this whole village, and he's the oldest among all of us, the wisest, and he often will bring supplies for the village and give everyone like a list of things to do and advice on how to stay safe from the aggressors. And then he'll go back out for a couple days to his hunting shack a couple miles away and try to gather up more supplies for us. But he's been gone for over a week at this point. We need him. We couldn't survive without him. Can you all help us find him?
You guys don't have any trackers?
They said that they're all like pretty well versed in the lands and stuff, you know, but he's obviously the best one, so they don't know if he has wandered off and got into trouble somewhere, or if he's too far away that they can't get to him in time before they need to come back to the village. And like they're all really afraid of going too far away because of the camp that's nearby. But he always tells them to stay put and stay safe, and he'll be back in a few days, but this time he's been gone for over a week. And they're starting to get worried about him.
I turn to Chewie and Chad and Elder and say, well, guys, you know, gotta help.
Elder, well, what do you guys have to say?
That's what Chad's here to do.
Okay. Chewie, what do you think about the situation? Elder says.
We do have a mission, but if we can help at the same time, we should do it.
Elder agrees and says, I think the highest probability, and he kind of gives his condolences to the people of the camp. He says, I think the most likely situation is that he was captured. If we're lucky, we may find him in the camp if we continue on with our goal here. It's up to you guys. We can go search for him, but I think
still here?
I think we stick to the plan and see if we can find him in the camp. Vex's Raven is here, yeah.
Can we get Rex's Raven to maybe check out his hunting place and see if he's actually there?
Vex said that he already did that. He went to the hunting shack a couple miles away and it was empty. And he says it was kind of weird because there was nothing there. Like all the supplies that he would normally take, like to stay there for a few days, had been gone through. Like there was no trace of him. He's not there.
Yeah, guys, this doesn't sound good at all. Maybe he has been captured.
I mean, either way, we can just look for him after we defeat the camp.
Wow, wisdom from Chad. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Chad ahead.
Sael says, please be careful if that's what you're going to do. It's a lot more dangerous than you think. And she starts to like freak out. Like if he was captured, he's probably like, and she can't even bring herself to say it, like that he is captured and like what could actually be happening to him. Like she just kind of clams up and stops talking and looks really worried.
I grab her hand and kiss it. Don't worry, we got this.
Roll a performance check for sure for that. 20, man. Your luck with the ladies is finally coming through here.
Man, after Roselle, man.
Yeah,
Walking this girl.
Look, you have to get in the gym, dude.
It's skill, not luck.
Rosio and Phil. Yeah, well, somehow that works, and she is kind of persuaded by your charm and calms down a little bit, and she's like, okay, if anyone can save him and help us, it's you. I believe in you. Please help us.
That's like awkwardly standing like 10 feet away, just like watching this. There's like fully visibly just like watching this, and he's like nodding his head. He's like learning. He's like, yes.
So when you guys first met elder, he had like that blindfold on, like his eyes were injured from the blast. And over time, like when you got back to the camp and everything, he was totally fine. But watching Darrow like kiss the snake lady's hand and stuff, you see Elder like kind of like take a couple steps back and like put his blindfold back on. And then he just laughs at you guys. Yeah,
I whisper to Elder, it's the performance later that's gonna count.
That's funny.
Using my elf ears, I hear that, and I shoot him in the eye.
I am actually going to award Chewie and Darrow inspiration for this little encounter here. So I don't know if you guys have a place where you can mark it down. It's not bardic inspiration, it's just like DM inspiration, so you can turn that in at any point and get advantage on your next roll.
It's on the sheet at the top left.
Cool. So you got some DM inspiration there. In my real life games, I hand out these stickers. So just imagine you have one of the little elder stickers there, and you can turn it in whenever you want.
Nice.
Cool.
So you finish charming your new snake lady friend, and snake charming. That's funny.
Snake charming.
She explains like the camp is just on the other side of a clearing, and please bring him back safely if you can find him, and not to cause too much chaos, and alert the camp to his presence, or to not alert the camp of their village's presence, I guess I should say. And then everyone kind of is really worried, and she starts to go around to the other villagers and try to talk them all down. And Vex swoops down and lands on Chewie's shoulder again and says, if you guys want, I can keep trying to scout the area, but it's dangerous for the Raven to be here. I don't want anyone to get led back to the village.
Yeah, I guess you could just avoid coming back to the village.
He says, I know where the camp is at. I'll scout around. If I find Samuel, I'll try to come and tell you guys. But if I don't find him, I'm gonna head back to the island because it's not safe.
That's all good. Fine by me.
Okay. He takes off and tries to go scout for him.
I checked my shoulder for any signs of anything.
He did not leave any presents for you there.
It's supposed to be good luck, man.
That's true. A magic raven as well, probably even better luck.
Right?
That is funny, man. You weren't so lucky today. He didn't leave anything.
I like to think Chewie just gets like increasingly annoyed every time it lands on his shoulder.
Or somehow the bird just keeps getting bigger and bigger and keeps landing on him. This giant bird eventually lands on him and just knocks him down. So yeah, you guys, it's all on you now. Whatever you guys want to do. Should we take a quick 5-minute break here?
Yeah, but first Chad's gonna say to that lady, he's gonna be like, don't worry, we won't lead them back to the place, because Chad's gonna kill them all or die trying. And then he like looks at her with like a smile, and like she shouldn't be like assured by this at all.
It's like Chad,
and like a thumbs up,
like Chadley overconfidence.
Yeah, but like it looks like he doesn't even know like what he's talking about. Like he doesn't know like how dangerous anything is.
Nice. Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
Oh god.
Let's see what we got here. I got a bonus.
Oh.
So Chad is like 100% like spaced out, not sure about like this at all. He's like just being his Chadley confident self. And so when Sael was like kind of confidence boosted by Darrow, and he says everything's gonna be okay, we're gonna bring Samuel back to you, and she starts to feel better, and then Chad like does the like Chad has sunglasses on, everyone remember that.
Face armor.
Chad has these
Okay.
sunglasses on and smiles and like gives her the thumbs up, like it's all gonna be fine. I'm gonna kill them all. She's like, "Thank you, Chad. I'm so thankful for your abilities. I believe in you so much. The whole village will be so disappointed if you are wrong." She's like obviously like believes you that you're gonna kill all of these people, and the whole village is like cheering for Chad now. But
You done it, Chad.
but they're all like, we don't know what we would do if you're wrong.
You're welcome.
Chad, you overpromised, dude. You overpromised.
So Abbott
Okay.
in the chat just said, "Is Chad Johnny Bravo?" And I think that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, it's like perfect, dude.
Yeah, it's heavily inspired.
Like slightly less like sexualized than Johnny Bravo, and more
Yeah.
just like a weightlifter that's like into himself.
Yes.
That's
And just
amazing,
into,
dude.
like, victory. He's more into victory than like women.
Yeah, and instead of the hair, he has like the ice breath and like the shades and stuff.
And the shades, and then the cloak, the wind cloak.
He says, "Does Chad also skip leg day?"
Never. Chad does every day is leg day, and then he does other days on top of that.
Dang. All right, that's
So
badass.
that he does like shoulders and chest and tries. He does that like he just repeats that, but every day is also leg day on top of that.
Nice. I love it.
Answer your
All right.
question.
That's amazing. Thank you for the fan questions there, Abbott. That's awesome. I'm really
Happy to
into
answer
the
them.
Johnny Bravo thing. That's so funny.
I love Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, me too, man. So, not to get too out of the realism here, so let's take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back here in 5. I'm just gonna go get some more water and stuff, and then we will decide if you guys want to approach the village or whatever it's gonna go down.
Okay.
Cool. We'll be back in 5, guys. Thanks a lot for being here.
Cool. See you soon.
Anybody else still here? Nope.
All right, hello stream. I'm back. I don't know if everybody else is back yet, but we'll come back a
I am.
couple minutes early and say hello to everybody. Awesome. Dr.
Real-
Feargood, the player who is playing Chewy for everybody that's watching the stream. How's it going so far, man? How are you thinking about everything?
I'm loving it. I'm just trying to play my character the way I described him.
I am appreciating it, man. I think it's going great so far. He's hilarious so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad you're having a good time as well. Um, it's been a while since we've. Hey, welcome back. It's been a while since we've been doing anything on this storyline, so it's taken me a second to remember everything and remember all the characters and trying to improv stuff on the fly with how things are going down. And you guys are pretty much making it through what I thought you would for this session, so it's going well. I'm glad you guys are having a good time. How are you doing, Darrow? Are you having fun today? What are you thinking so far about being back towards your OG character here?
I'm just happy to be back on my bar. That's all.
Good, man. Good.
Oh, yo, can I have like a quick 2 minutes? I got like a real big attack from the IBS monster.
You're good, man. Come on back whenever.
No, I'll be real quick.
So, now that we're back to the main storyline here, I figure just kind of to talk meta for a minute and take a quick break. This campaign is meant to last until the characters are level 10. And then after that, I have a couple of different campaigns that I'm planning on wanting to run. For sure, I don't have a set in stone idea of who or the party, if we're going to change the party up, or if any of you guys want to keep playing into a different campaign. How's everything working for you guys schedule wise so far? We're gonna have to take next week off, but are Wednesdays still fine for you guys? Are you still enjoying doing this every week? Is anyone getting burnt out at all? Like, how you guys holding up?
Well, come fall, I'm going to go back to school, like I said, and I'm going to try my best not to schedule on Wednesday, but I can't guarantee.
Okay.
So that's like the issue I'm going to have coming soon.
Cool. When does school start up again?
I have to schedule classes on August, and I think they start September the 1st.
Okay. I highly doubt we'll be finished with this campaign by then. You know, it's takes a while. So hopefully we can still how does your scheduling work with your classes and stuff like?
Well, I haven't scheduled any yet, but obviously they have to be after work, so it'll be from like 4. I don't think classes will run into 8 o'clock, but you never know.
Sure. Yeah, I guess just keep me in the
I'll
loop with whatever's going on. It's
yeah.
all good if we have to change something up or whatever, because it's taken 10 sessions to get you guys to level 5, and it's going to be, I would imagine, a little bit longer. It takes longer to level up from here on out, so to get to level 10 from 5 is going to take at least another 10 sessions, I would imagine. So that's 2.5 months plus taking a day off whenever we need to. So hopefully if you do have some scheduling stuff, we can work around it however we need to.
Hey, sorry so much.
No, you're good, man. We've just been talking about stuff. I was just asking the guys how just thinking about in the long term and stuff, like we are maybe about halfway through this campaign overall, and I just wanted to know how you guys were still feeling about it, how the scheduling was working, Wednesday nights and everything, if you're still enjoying it, if anyone was getting burnt out or anything like that, and if we needed to adjust anything. Just wanted to get everybody's feelings about stuff so far.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, I think it's fun, and I like the format, and I don't try anything like worse or anything that like I don't enjoy, because so far it's been like amazing. So I would say like, yeah, it'd probably be pretty cool if you could like throw in like goblins every once in a while. It doesn't have to be like every time, but it doesn't, just like every once in a while, just to give some flavor. I think it's a nice duality that I didn't expect, and I really enjoyed that.
Cool. I'm glad that you had fun with that as well. Samurai was saying that he is going to he's like has to go back to teaching classes and scheduling and stuff like that in the fall, so there might be a little bit of like some scheduling conflicts or something. We'll just have to play it by ear and see how it goes when we get to that point, if we have to change something or change the time or the day or whatever, but we'll kind of deal with that as we get there, and we'll know when we get closer to that time. We have another month or so before we get there.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel like this campaign, once it wraps up at level 10? I have some ideas for future stuff I want to do. Are you guys interested in playing another one or continuing to play like a weekly D&D campaign, or you want to, what do you guys feel about that? Like maybe playing another one in the future? I might want to rotate and bring in like another party to just kind of change it up for the stream. But if any of you are interested in sticking around, and you don't have to tell me now or we can talk about it later, but if anyone's still having fun and into it and interested in playing more later.
Like at least 4 characters that I'd like to try before I would be like, I don't care, but I'm happy to just step down if someone else wants to take my place. But I have like a lot of ideas and a lot of fun, not only just like characters to play as in like game mechanics, but also just like as in like I have like an acting background of just like characters to just
Awesome. Yeah, cool. So, and definitely, I'm definitely not asking anyone to step down. Like, I feel like the party composition we have right now is working great. I really loved how you guys all played together through the Goblin Squad and everything, and it seemed like you guys all had fun together. So, if everything's working out, we can definitely like. I'm cool doing another campaign, keeping everybody the same. If anyone wanted to step down or had to, I could try to find more people, but I'm like, it makes it way easier on me, believe me, if nothing changes. But I just wanted to bring it up really quick just to make sure everyone is like having fun, and like don't feel like you're gonna offend me if you tell me like I'm getting burnt out, we need to take a week off or whatever. Like we are taking next week off because I'll be unavailable on Wednesday. But I just want to keep it like an open conversation with you guys, just to keep this as fun as possible. I don't want it to be too burdensome. You know, I hate it when it's like an hour before the game starts. If somebody's like, oh God, I have to play D&D tonight, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want you guys to feel like that. So as long as everyone's still having fun, then I'm good. That's what I get my fun with in this game, is making sure you guys are having a good time. So that's all I wanted to bring up. Is if anything changes or you guys have to say anything to me, just feel free to bring it up to me at any time, or mention it, or message me, or whatever you guys want. Cool.
I'm good to go.
all right.
Awesome. So we're back in the little snake elf village, and you've all elected to try to help find Samuel if you can, but you're feeling like you need to take down this your goal first, whether that is liberating this camp and killing everybody Chad style, or just going in and checking it out and seeing what you can find. But you decided that that's the approach that you want to take. So Sayel kind of leads you and shows you across which clearing the camp is at, and you guys are free to embark and head that way.
Man, I forgot to dang. I forgot to like put spells in a ring. I forgot all about the ring actually.
What ring do you have?
Ring of spell holding.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Nah, I mean you don't have to do it now since we're already.
No. So you guys were on the boat for like 2 weeks. You definitely had time to do it, so you can say that you did. Like whatever you want to have in there, you can.
I was legit just gonna load it with like cure wounds.
Yep, that's totally fine, man. How I don't remember how many uses it has.
I'm about to see. Yeah,
I can look it up really quick. It's just a basic ring of spell storing, which is a pretty common magic item here. Try to find it. Here we go. Let's see.
5 levels of spells.
Yes, it can store up to 5 levels worth of spells at a time. So I don't know what What level of spell slots do you have, Darrow?
Cure Wounds is just level 1.
Right, but you can cast it at like level 3 or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, I'm
Or
up to level 3.
so if you want, you can store like a level 3 cure wounds and 2 level 1s, or you can store like 5 level 1 cure wounds in it or whatever, you know what I mean?
How about how about we store the Lehman's tiny hut, since that's a spell slot 3.
Okay.
That way I can cast things at 3 and not have to worry about that.
And then you
That's
have
3
2
and 2 more
left.
cure wounds. Yeah,
Cool.
and
Awesome.
just 2 level 1 cure.
So Lehman's tiny hut kind of creates like a little invisible like resting room that you guys can go into, right?
Yep.
Cool. That's actually a pretty solid plan. Is use it for that. So then at any time you guys can take a long rest or whatever if you need to.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I totally forgot about the ring as well. I'm glad you remembered. Remember all your magic items that you got from Zadera. Chewy, you got all of the ones that Goldu had. So you have the portable hole and the bag of holding and all that good stuff. So, do you guys embark from the little village towards the military camp?
Yeah, we do it very
Yep.
sneakily.
Very sneakily?
Sneakily.
As sneakily as possible. I think we all roll for stealth.
Yes,
right?
everybody roll a stealth check, please.
What Chad's stealth is.
Man, I have a 5 bonus and I rolled 10.
Ooh, let's go.
Chewy has a 6 and rolled 7.
Jeez.
Uh,
Just lumbering through everything.
I think
Arrow.
I think bugbears are like naturally stealthy, right? Like
Stealthy.
they even have sneak
Yeah.
attack and stuff. Okay, so you guys are kind of clambering through this swamp, and like there's these broken down, charred trees everywhere. So as you go, it's hard to like avoid. You like step in the quicksand, and you have to like pull your leg out from it, and it kind of makes this suction noise, and then you have to catch yourself, and sometimes you'll accidentally step on one of these charred branches and it'll snap and kind of echo out a little bit, and you kind of are just like stumbling through the swamp land here, and eventually you get to this hill where Sayel explained that the camp was at, and you look over the hill and you can see this entire little encampment, and you can see the entrance into the cave. Can you guys see that on the Roll20 and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Cool. So you can see this little camp that's been set up. It's like a little military camp. There's some tents with soldiers' sleeping quarters, and you can see at the mouth of the cave to the top right of the map where you guys are. You imagine you're kind of on the top of this hill in the swamp, and you're looking down on this camp, and you're hidden behind some of the trees and stuff. You're still trying to be sneaky, even though you were being pretty loud. You can see the mouth of this cave, the Amethyst Caverns, and you see these big cranes that are used for this military operation, and they're loading these statues. And can you guys see that? If they're a little small on the map, but there's like lines of those statues that you saw before that look like they're being kind of carted out of the cave.
Yeah.
Like next to the big old rocks and stuff. On the top right, there's a bunch of statues, and you recognize they look like the stone cursed statue that you saw on Hicks's boat in the beginning. Like this must be where they got it from. And you look around this camp, and it's pretty late now. You've been traveling. You've traveled all the way down the like coastal road and found the Snake Village, and you decided to approach at night to be more stealthy. And you don't see a lot of activity. You can see a couple people, soldier looking people wandering around, and occasionally you'll see some people go from one tent to the other, and they just look like it was a lot like back when you were in Chance, the slums that you lived in with the tent city, and people would just kind of wander around, visiting and kind of still trying to do a little bit of work here and there at nighttime, and you'd see people pop in and out of various tents, and the same thing is kind of happening here. You can see people occasionally will go and kind of look at the statues and maybe move them around a little bit with the cranes and put them in crates and stuff like that. And sometimes the people that come and go out of these tents are the like same snake type people that you saw in that village. You see some heavily armored humanoid looking people, and then you see some of the snake elves with the leather gear slithering around, and everyone that you see looks to be pretty heavily armored. And from your kind of lay of the land of the camp, you can see some of the people look more advanced and heavily armored than others, and very occasionally you will see one of the people kind of go into the cave, and then 10-15 minutes later they'll come out with one of these statues, and they'll bring them to this pile to be loaded into the crates and stuff. And you can see they're kind of just working, hauling stuff in and out of this cave system, and then kind of hanging out in the camp. And you can see there's a little farm, and they have enough food to kind of sustain themselves. It looks like a permanent military base, but it's not very big.
This might be more complicated than we thought, guys. It seems like they have snake people working for them too. Snake elves working for them. I wonder if
sneak in. I can't do it.
I wonder if there's like separate villages of these snake guys.
That's it. It could be so. Who knows?
Do they look like they're enslaved or anything?
I guess so.
How would you try to tell?
Chains around them.
Make a perception check. Pretty good. So 21, you can see from the top of the hill. Do you have dark vision? You surely do,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So it's pretty dark. The camp is fairly well lit. You can see there's some lanterns around all the major points with the big tent and the cave entrance and everything. And those crystals around the mouth of the cave, you can see big amethyst crystals that are glowing and giving off a decent amount of light. But you can see pretty well in the dark, and you can see the snake people whenever they wander around. Occasionally, the people that you see go in and out of the cave seem to be the snake people, and they look similar to the ones that you saw at the village, and they're being very, very almost I don't want to say robotic, but very consistent with their actions. They're seem like they're on like a path, and they keep doing the same things. Like one will go in, they'll bring out the cart with a statue on it, and they keep doing their like guard movements, and they don't have any chains on them, but they seem weird.
Can I roll a see? Got it.
I think they may be in a trance or something.
Huh. Can I roll to see if there's maybe some guards like looking out for them or something like that?
Sure, yeah, you guys can all, if you want, make a perception check to kind of check out the camp and see what you see.
Oh boy. I'm blind, guys. I can't see anything. Where's the camp? Where's the camp?
Do you all have dark vision?
Yeah, I have dark vision.
Do Dragonborn have dark vision?
No, I don't.
Okay, humans do not either, and Elder is kind of just hanging out with you guys, and he's trying to see things. He can. It's like if you don't have dark vision, this camp is essentially like dim light. It's faint and hard to see. Darrow, you look and you can see that there is a guard tower, and you can see it right next to the gate on the bottom left of the map there, if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. I can't get to it on the stream here. 1 second. Okay. you can see right there on the stream, everybody, you can see this little guard tower right next to the gate. It seems to come up about 20 feet into the air, and you're having a hard time making out if anybody is in it right now. But with your reasoning, and you're a smart guy, you kind of think like it's a guard tower, right? Why would there not be anybody in it?
Mm-hmm.
And Chad, you're looking around. What are you kind of scanning for in the camp? Are you trying to check out any one place in particular here?
I'm just looking for like points of weakness in their base, like if there's something that I can like exploit to, I don't know, like attack them from behind or just like use an improvised weapon in their camp. Just like to see if they have something that's like out in the open, you know, like a chandelier kind of like hanging above like a key point kind of thing.
Okay. You kind of like from your gladiator days and from your expertise with improvised fighting and cage fighting and that type of things, and just being like a general battlefield knowledge kind of a guy, you look around to see if there's anything that you might have to use later in like a quick moment, and you see that those cranes, there's a crane on each side of the hill there, if you can see those, that they are using to load up the statues and whatnot. There's one on each side of the big ravine where the cave entrance is at. You think that those, like, they look like just like wooden pulley systems. You kind of look at those and kind of take notes in your mind, thinking like maybe that would be useful. And then you can also see, like, the first thing you think of as like a frost based dragon is like this whole place is like canvas and wood and very vulnerable to some type of fire based chaos, you know, like it's very
Yeah, I was
common,
actually thinking the same thing.
very common in like your old dragon tribe, like as frost dragons, like you purposely would build your homelands and everything in a way to not be affected by fire at all, because screw that.
Yeah, no, it's
So
got to be fireproof, it's got to be acid proof, it's got to be lightning proof.
Exactly. So you notice right off the bat, like the cranes and everything, like there's a lot of stuff sticking up that could be maybe knocked over, and the whole place is like wood. And then you also notice like there's these giant boulders around the cave entrance, and I'll zoom in on those on the stream. Um, they're kind of in the way, and they stopped building the fence a little bit on the right side. You can see right behind that crane. There's like big boulders that lead into the opening of the cave, and the fence kind of like couldn't go around it. So you see a little bit of like a pathway you could maybe get in there. You guys also noticed like the wooden fence it's like 6 feet tall. It's not like some giant like privacy fence type thing. It's not
Chewie's taller.
Crap, I'm gonna have to bend over.
It's not a huge wooden like wall, you know.
I was thinking we set some of these set the grains and stuff on fire, draw them away from one side, and we jump down there from the little gap in the fence.
But that would alert them that after they put the grain out, that somebody had to start it, so they would look for somebody.
Yeah, this is true.
Interesting predicament here.
I mean, I have this weird green rock that could just basically blow us like 30 feet in any direction. But, you know, it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, let's not do that.
What do you? Oh, the crystal.
Yeah, my magical flight crystal that I use.
Right. So, Elder
We can definitely probably sneak in. My bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. What was your idea?
I mean, it's pretty dim. We could probably just sneak in.
You guys can definitely try whatever you want. Elder has been kind of listening to all of your ideas and surveying the situation. He's having a hard time seeing anything, and he said You mentioned that you thought that the snake creatures might be in a trance. Uh,
Yeah, they just look like they're all moving the same,
this
like a
may
robot.
this may be the work of the Lich, and if that's the case, we have to be careful. He's very powerful, but I wonder if Samuel was captured and is enslaved here.
It's probably, honestly, yeah, that's probably what's going on. Found them and decided to put them to work.
Enslaved, so we should just leave before we're enslaved. Mission solved. Let's go.
I mean, this is the goal, Chad. We can't leave.
And Elder says, Chad, do you remember how much that village was looking forward to you solving their problems for them?
Yeah, I didn't think mind control powers. Chad doesn't know anything about that.
um,
I
Chad
don't want to
can't
let my
touch his
future wife
mind.
down, do you, Chad?
it's true. We gotta be good wingmen for Darrow here.
Yeah, guys, come on now.
It's like you all run to another
7
universe,
kids.
a third universe,
I need to
a
populate
universe
all the
within the
universes.
universe.
um, so at this point, Elder kind of like he went over everybody's like ideas, and he's just like, whatever you guys want to do, we can approach this from whatever way. If you guys want to try to sneak in the camp and see what's around, or if we want to just try to sneak past through that fence opening and get into the cave, we can. What we're here to find that artifact is our big goal here. So
Let's try to sneak in by the rocks.
wherever you guys think we need to go.
Maybe we can activate one of these statues and have it, like, wreck them for us. How did we activate the other one? Was it just because we touched it?
You guys opened the chest that it was like the crate that it was being transported in, and you like opened the lid and saw that it was just a statue in there. So you just closed the lid, and then it like reached out and grabbed somebody's leg.
Right.
So they stone cursed is what it is, and now that you've fought one before, you fought a couple of them by now. I think I've used these things a couple
the
times.
Minotaur and Gargoyle.
Yeah, I like using gargoyle statue monsters. They're fun for me. Stone cursed, like they appear to be like frozen still statues, but like when you're not watching or if you walk by them, then they can like activate.
Doctor Who.
Exactly like those, like the angel statues in Doctor Who. Freaky things.
Yeah.
But they're still like statues. They can't just like get up and walk away. Like they're
They
still
can't
stuck
hop
there.
around,
But
yeah.
like they can kind of reach out and grab you, or like hobble a little bit if there's like nobody around, you know?
Huh. Yeah, that's a little harder than I thought.
I say we try to sneak in.
Yeah, sneaking might
The
just do
fence.
us.
I say we stay on the cliff and try to stay above the statues, behind them.
Okay, and try to sneak in like on the far right behind the rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna leave it right there, and when we come back, not next week, but the week after, unfortunately, we do have to take next week off. We will immediately roll a stealth roll as soon as we come back, and we'll see how it goes. And I will have the Amethyst Caverns totally prepped and ready for you guys. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm super excited. Thank you guys for playing again. I think it went really well. The first episode back to the Elder Council, we got to meet Chewy, which Fear Good, you killed it, man. I think it was a really fun time. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We literally like got through exactly the amount of stuff that I wanted to and thought we were going to today. I passed the point where we're at exactly right now. I don't have anything ready, so it's like we did exactly the amount of content that I had prepared, and it worked out perfectly time wise. So you guys are awesome. It worked out really well. So
Planned it beforehand. We had a meeting.
yeah. Cool. So we will be back in 2 Wednesdays with another episode, and we'll delve into the caverns if these guys can successfully sneak in or whatever. I will be gone tomorrow from the stream. I'll be back on Sunday with some Fire Emblem, you guys. And this Sunday is my 1 year Twitch stream anniversary with a new Fire Emblem game. I'm super excited for that, so I hope you guys will tune in on Sunday. But I will be off tomorrow and no D&D next Wednesday. So thank you guys for playing. I had a wonderful time. Let's go hit somebody up with a raid. So I'm going to end the call, and we'll talk to you guys next time.